Greetings, my geeky brethren, and welcome to another episode of Yolk'd. We've got some great things in store for you today, including a video game review and a 5-minute clip of Paul in the shower. What do you mean we're not doing that part anymore?
We cut it.
Then why do I even get up in the morning? I don't get to do anything around here. Edit this part out.
But you're the editor.
Oh, then I quit.
Okay.
No, I don't quit. I'm just kidding. I'm just tricking you. Today's top story is beset by death, murder, annihilation. To make matters worse, many of you know the victim of this brutal killing personally. And so today it is with great pain and sorrow that we reflect on and remember our cherished friend, the Windows Start button. That's right, folks, the most iconic and beloved corner button that ever lived will soon be offed. The culprit? Windows 8. Merely months away from its launch, the Windows 7 successor will replace the Start button with a so-called hot corner, which users will have to hover over with their mouse to bring up the new Metro-style start screen. If that's not confusing enough, the new feature rests in the bottom left corner of your desktop without any visual representation, making it a hot, invisible corner that might initially give new users a hard time. But who am I to judge? I mean, Windows 8 isn't even out yet, and for all I know, it's going to be great. All I'm saying is that the immediate death of a longtime trademark like the Windows Start button might take some getting used to. And hell, I'm going to miss the little guy. We really had some great times together.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that was a girl.
What? That's going to do it for the tech world today, and now we'll switch gears to our next segment, Paul's Handy Advice, where Paul single-handedly answers your tech questions.
Hello Newegg TV fans, welcome to my segment of Yolk'd, whatever it's being called this week. I've stopped paying attention. My first question is from Mad Respec, and the question is, hi Paul, why is your monitor so big, and what kind of monitor is it? Well, he's probably actually referring to this guy right here. This is my big monitor. This is an HP ZR30W, and it is this big, well, for a couple reasons. First off, it's a 30-inch monitor. It's super IPS. It can display like over 1 billion colors. And the reason I got it this size is because I needed a 2556 by 1600 resolution monitor, because if you're testing high-end video cards, especially like SLI Crossfire stuff, you really need to do higher resolutions to actually see any difference between those. So I mainly got it for benchmarking and also because it's awesome to have a super huge monitor. Next question is from Don Diego 256. This was actually posted to our channel. It's a memory question. Hi Newegg, I'm shopping for some 204-pin SO-DIMM memory DDR3 1333. What is the difference between PC3 10600, 10660, 1066? And this is a very good question. It's actually come up before. It relates to how memory speeds are measured, and there's a few things to take into consideration. First off is that usually what you see on a memory actually advertised is not megahertz as far as the memory speed goes. It's the data rate, which is actually megatransfers per second. That's often listed as megahertz, which actually isn't correct. That's the input-output bus clock rate. Now, without getting too into detail, with DDR memory, originally they came up with what's called a prefetch buffer, and it had a multiple of 2. DDR2 memory upped that to 4. DDR3 memory ups that to 8. So what you do to get that number, 1066, 10600, is actually you take the data rate in megatransfers per second, you multiply that by the prefetch buffer, which is 8 for DDR3 memory, and you come up with that number. Now, some manufacturers will round that down, which is why you will see 10600 or 10660. A lot of manufacturers will like to put the highest number they possibly can, so you'll see 1066. The answer is actually, it's not really a big deal. What you want to look at is that data rate, the megatransfers per second, or megahertz. You'll see that advertised very prominently with a lot of different types of memory. Make sure you have the right type of memory module. Make sure you have a transfer rate that's compatible with your computer, whether it's a laptop or the motherboard that you're using, and you should be fine. That's going to wrap it up for my segment. Next up, we're going to send it over to Rachel, who's going to be doing a video game review on Trine 2.
So I like playing a lot of different kinds of games, but lately I've really been interested in indie games. So the Newegg TV team thought it'd be a good idea to invite me to come over and play a few so that I could give you guys maybe a better idea of something you'd want to play and to give these publishers some extra face time. So to start off the series, here's Trine 2. Trine 2 is a side-scrolling action and environmental puzzle-solving game made by the Finnish developer Frozenbyte. It was released at the end of last year and follows up on the success of the original. Now there are some significant changes to note in Trine 2 for any of you who may have played the original. A multiplayer option has been implemented, and the wizard character no longer has that magic bar of sorts that the player has to worry about when conjuring and levitating objects. Trine 2 reunites the 3 characters from the original and takes them on a journey to find out what the Trine has in store for them this time. As you progress, a grandfatherly sounding narrator will chime in at each level transition. Other voiceover is minimal. The characters only really speak up when you encounter a new game mechanic, giving little hints and leaving the rest up to you. So with little attention given to the player, Trine 2 feels very much like watching a bedtime story play out on screen, except you have to get the characters across a gaping chasm before you can turn the page, as it were. This, combined with the 3D graphics but 2D scrolling gameplay, gives it a very pop-up book feel, or like being inside a very large diorama, which I found really interesting. The environment is a fairy tale, technicolor, dreamlike fantasy world. Playstyle is simple, spacebar for jumping, left to right movement only. The object of the game is to progress along the map to the next area, while collecting as many shimmering vials as possible so you can level up. Also, because you can switch between the 3 characters with their different abilities, there are multiple ways to achieve the same goal. This helps to keep the gameplay interesting, at least for me. As you level up, you can advance your character's abilities in the skills menu. Choose wisely, because the area's challenges get more and more involved. For example, one of the first upgrades of the wizard character is conjuring 2 items. This becomes almost essential for gathering some of the harder to reach vials, because he can levitate a stack of 2 conjured boxes while standing on top of them. He can also levitate enemies and conjure a plank. Zoya the thief can get fire and ice arrows for stunning enemies, and Pontius can learn to charge or throw his hammer. All of these are incredibly helpful when progressing through tougher areas. Boss fights are really only there for show. All you have to do is find the mechanic to exploit, and then it's pretty much a one-shot. In spite of that though, this game is great bang for your buck. It's not terribly short or long, just the right amount. For under $20, you're getting a well-made and charming side-scroller puzzle and action game with a great soundtrack that's a blast to play and will probably also challenge you a bit. Plus, you're supporting independent publishers, the kind of innovators who will, on a marginal budget, create titles that are often game changers for the industry. If the success of Bastion, Minecraft Portal, and now the Trine series is any indication, there's certainly a lot more to look forward to. And that's it for Trine 2. If there are any other indie games that you're really interested in and want us to check out, or if there's a game you feel like deserves a lot more attention, leave us a comment below and we'll take a look at it. Now, it's over to Heather.
Hey guys, how's it going? Today's comment comes from the Deuce Trey, who said, "Why not just change the whole Yolk'd thing into Paul'd and fire everyone but Paul?" Well, Mr. Deuce, the upper management here at Newegg happened to stumble upon your little comment and actually thought that it was a good idea. Due to the recent changes, this segment will now be called Newegg TV Stars. Where are they now? My friends are gone.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of Yolk'd, everyone. Now, the Newegg TV team is down to just me. That means I get to do everything, including hitting record to stop the camera right now. We'll see you next time.